Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. This week we're working on the Vauxhall Corsa 2008 and we're going to be changing the lower arms on the front suspension. So show you what's involved. It's a bit of hard work. I've done one of these already, so I'm going to take you through doing the other side and show you a few of the difficulties and things like that. Here you can see how it's fastened. We've got one nut and bolt there towards the rear, and it's on a E8 star shape, so it's a Torx bit underneath, and it's the same on this one. At the front you can see access is a little bit tricky, so we need to take off the plastic cover to help us get a bit more access to that one, so we can get the breaker bar in. These are a few little Torx you can see. One at the back, one at the front. There's the plastic removed, and you can see we've now got nice access to it, so we can get our breaker bar in on the Torx. Crack these loose. Also have a socket on the top there as well. These are very tight, so they do take a bit of going, so take your time, don't mash the Torx in. You can see I've got them loosened, and then there's one final which is called the pinch bolt, which is what holds the pin together. You'll see on the new one here the pin just underneath this plastic protective cover. There's the pin that goes up, and then that's the pinch bolt I was just showing you a moment ago. So once we've got the bolts out, both sides there, the pinch bolts out you can see as well, and now what you want to do is prise it apart. So using a pry bar, you want to prise the pin out the bottom, and this can be really difficult. This can be really in there quite tight, so a lot of WD-40, a lot of time and patience, just moving it from different angles, and eventually it'll drop through the bottom once you get the force right and everything in the right place. There we go, it's starting to move. This bit's quite tricky. This is where you've got to try to wrestle it out from the existing position, and the metal does hold it in place quite tightly, so you do have to just keep easing it backwards and forwards until it comes out. Now this is important. You'll see the pinch bolt is in place. I've pushed it in before I've actually put the new arm in, and you'll see shortly that this is a very bad idea, and it'll actually stop you from being able to fit the pin in, and I'll show you the reason why shortly. But in the meantime, line all of this up, get the arm in place, and you can see it's vaguely in the right place. I found it easier to get the front in first, you can see there, then try to line up the rear and get those two positioned up as best as I can first by pushing them in and getting them located up. And once those are in place, the pin should be in around about the right position. If you look there, it's not quite in the right place yet, so using a piece of wood just so I don't damage it, just a little knock helps locate the other two sections into place, and you'll see that it's a lot better. There you go, you see how that's moved in, ready for the bolt to go in. And do the same at the back as well. And then just line it up once the bolt will go back into place. There you go, that's the bolt in place. Again, just doing exactly what I showed before, just pushing and pulling into place. And you can see the pin is now pretty much lined up to go into the collar. As I mentioned before though, I do have the bolt in place, which actually prevents it from going in, because you can see the notch where the bolt would sit on that pin. And that's why. So you'll see me position it all up and get it prepared, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward to where I've taken the bolt back out and it'll fit in properly. There you go, you see with the bolt removed, the pin fits through. Now what you'll find is when you come to put the bolt back through, it may not go in smoothly. If it doesn't, what it means is you need to adjust the height slightly, either up or down, of the arm. See there, it's not going in smoothly. It's very important to find the sweet spot so that the pin isn't too high or too low, because the bolt needs to be able to move through freely, and you can see the bolt is now moving through freely, which means that it's in the right point on the pin. Now if I show you the old one, you can hopefully see the ridge there, which is where the bolt sits, and that's what we're trying to line up. So you do need to lift and lower the arm to get that lined up. So let's torque these up. That is the lower arm ball joint clamp bolt nut, and that's 60 Newton meters of torque. So I've set that on the torque wrench. Let's just set that and get that one right. And now these two bolts, that nut and bolt and that nut and bolt, you adjust to 90 Newton meters, and the recommendation is to do that on the ground, and then an angle tighten of a further 75 degrees and then a 15 degrees, so they're on quite tight. So let's do that, get them all torqued up correctly using our torque wrench, and then that's job's done. And there we go, that's how to change the lower arm on a 2008 Vauxhall Corsa D. It's practically the same on quite a long range of the cars. So there you go. I hope that's been useful to you. Please do pop a comment, a like, and remember to say subscribe to the channel for lots more content coming up shortly. So I'll see you in the next video.